It starts now. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Welcome everybody to Love Shack. Oh my God. Another show about love. You guys need help, you need assistance, you want guidance. I mean, literally this whole show is about love, not just about romantic love, but of physical love. It's emotional love of yourself, love of others, love of animals. This is just love, baby, love. I'm Raven, and we have...
Good morning, good afternoon. Joni is here. How are you, my dear? How are you?
I am awesome, actually.
Good.
I am very awesome. Things are going very well. Everything seems to be landing where it's supposed to. I'm starting to get more organized, so that's really good. Hello, Melissa. And hello, Howie.
There she is, Miss
Yes.
Melissa.
Melissa.
Miss Melissa.
So we're excited about all this.
Miss Melissa.
Very excited because I'm dumbfounded, or should I say, I have like natural brain farts when it comes to astrology. So that's Joni's field.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll love it. You will.
I do love it. I love hearing about it. I love finding out about it. But it's just my brain doesn't work on that wavelength.
Yes, it will. Yeah, I mean, but it all depends on what your passion is, what you love, what you follow, what you do.
That's right.
I'm on over the spectrum on astrology. It's almost obsessive compulsive, and I dive into these rabbit holes and I can't get out of them. It's like, and it's different astrology rabbit holes. Like, oh, I got to find out as much as I can about when astrology started. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and you go way, way back. So it's like it's probably the first divination, because what else did they have to do but look up?
True. And I do like runes. As far as when I'm doing things, I use the runes, but most of the time it's a lot of self-help stuff.
Right.
It's like, that's what I kind of like. I can't help it. It's like self-help. How do you improve this? How do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that?
Well, and that's all. And I think they're all mixed. They're all one and the same. It's all one and the same. It's just different divinations. Like the runes. What did they use? Yi Ching or astrology or tarot.
Yep.
It's all one in this, and they all connect.
Yes, they do.
Everything connects. If you study the runes, they connect with tarot. Tarot connects with astrology. They all connect.
Speaking of astrology,
yay,
we have Miss Melissa in the chat room, and Miss Joni was awesome enough to do a awesome chart, which I'll probably stop and ask 20 million questions on, because certain things I just want to know. I find things fascinating, so I want to know about them. So right now, without further ado, it's Miss Joni is going to explain what we did.
I will explain what we did because Love Shack is all about love and relationships and romance. Like you said, it can either be self-love, but everybody wants romantic love. Everybody partner love. To be in love. When you're in love, you're happy.
Yeah.
Let's face it, being in love and having a partner, I think you're at your best. When you
Yes.
have the best partner in the world, or you found
Yes.
that partner. And
Yes.
that is like we've talked about it so many times before. The most asked question I get, probably the one that you get asked, is about love life and finding your soulmate or finding a mate, or
Love life, finances, and kid issues. I get a lot of those.
Jobs, but love is up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But in astrology, there is when you look at somebody asks about their love life or relationships, we have to explain who Juno is. Now, Juno is one of the most important asteroids. She's the queen. She is Jupiter's wife. So we have to look on your natal chart or even your transit chart, which I'll show you the difference. Where is Juno right now? Like I said, she is the queen of marriage. She's one of the 4 asteroid goddesses. I call them goddesses. And they're the female energy. We have Venus and we have the moon. Is that it with female energies as far as the planets? I think I might be missing a couple, but we have our 4 asteroids. Venus represents love. Mars represents passion, and let's face it, it's the male, it's sex. So you got Mars, then you've got Venus, you've got Juno. Juno is marriage. She represents marriage, what you need in a mate, and what kind of a mate you will be. So actually, a Juno placement is more important than just about anything else when you're talking about love and relationships.
And
what is she doing?
I am very excited to see this now. I can't wait to see this. I got to see how they all interact together. So that's going to be fascinating.
It is. And they're all, of course, these are all, you can look up Juno and her story through, go back with Jupiter.
Right.
But, she is the goddess of marriage, the goddess of, the females, safety, issues, love.
I'm so fascinated. I feel like I should grab a pen and paper and start taking notes. I mean, I love this stuff. It's just not my forte for learning, but I really love astrology.
It's cool. Well, in Vesta, we have another female. Vesta is the hearth and home. And then we have Pallas. So, we'll go over them sometime because they are the 4 goddesses that we should females especially should pay attention to. Where the 4 are at in your chart.
So what is Vesta doing? Males differently than females?
Well, they're for us, basically. They're female energies. But, male energy needs it too.
Right.
Juno in a male's chart talks about what kind of a partner he will be.
Okay.
So, that's really important. So yeah, I mean, and then male and female energies that they are in astrology.
Before we get into Melissa's chart, you just got a really awesome idea right now. What if we had some type of a love, 2 different compatibility charts for a couple? What couple would be willing to do this compatibility charts?
Why don't you do it next week, or Howie and Sarah? We can do theirs. That's called synastry. That is in astrology as well. It's called synastry.
I find something like that fascinating.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating. It's like synchronicity. Yeah.
It is. And what you do is you put one chart as the inner wheel and another chart is the outer wheel of the couple. And what you do is you look at the aspects that they hit on each other. Like, when you guys argue, one hides and the other one, you can, it's really a good tool to use with couples.
Huh.
We could do it with you guys next week just to show how it works. If you don't,
Yeah, that sounds pretty fascinating. So, how excited are you, Melissa?
yeah, I hope she's excited.
She's very excited.
She's very, very interesting.
I do. I find certain aspects fascinating. Good morning, Mr. Keith.
Hi, Mr. Keith. Now, this is what's called a natal chart. This is what, when you get the time, the place, and the date.
It's your birth chart. Yeah.
This is your birth chart. This is your map. This is your road map when you are born. And if you see on the chart the blue lines, those are the aspects that are of ease. The blue and the green. Red, when you see the red, those are what we would consider little obstacles or possibly challenges that you overcome. So it's like basically when you're sitting down and saying, okay, I'm going to incarnate at this time, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to pick this, this, and this. So these are your lessons that you come in here with. Now, for example, of course, you've heard of squares. You've heard of you have squares. You have oppositions. Those are things that we need to overcome. Challenges. Those are things that can be difficult. The red. What we find at ease are the blue and the green. Now, sometimes when you have too much blue and you think, oh my God, look at all this red I've got. Melissa's probably going, oh crap, look at all my red. The blue and the green are things sometimes that we do too easy, that we take advantage of.
Okay.
So it's really a good thing when we have a balance. You don't want all trines in your chart. You don't want all blue and green.
So as far as this particular chart we're looking at, does this look pretty balanced?
Yeah, they all pretty well look like that. Yeah, this is Melissa's chart. This is her birth chart. What struck me, and I know we're getting into the love and romance portion of her chart, but right away when you look at a natal chart, you want to pick up what your eyes go to first. Of course, because this is love. Now the little like star, if you look over, count 7 little houses, that's Juno. She's got like a little star head, and over in the 7th house, you count 7 slices over to the right, and see the symbol with the little star at her head and the bottom, that's Juno. Well, that struck me because in Melissa's chart, Juno hit her 7th house. What is the 7th house?
Yes, what is it?
That's the house of marriage, partnerships, relationships. So Juno, Melissa was born with Juno in the placement of marriage, relationships, partnerships. So it's like, this is a wonderful placement for Juno. That's where she's at home. She's at home in that's her house.
Okay.
So you kind of look at that and think, well, wait a minute, it's in Capricorn. So what is Capricorn? These are the little things that you pick up immediately. What's in Capricorn? Capricorn is earthy. It's play by the rules. I don't go outside of the box. The workhorse. Work. Yes, they have fun. But for Capricorn, work is the most important. They have a tendency to stay inside of themselves a lot. So it's like, oh, okay. But what the wonderful, wonderful natal, what she was born with, is if you count up to the 11th house, where see the green Taurus symbol where he's a circle with the little horns at the top. You go around
Yeah.
11. She has a beautiful, and I mean wonderful, conjunction, which conjunction means the two energies are blending together, of Venus. That's what we look for because this is all about love right now.
Yeah.
And Saturn. Well, Saturn, as we know, is the planet of karma. Saturn restricts. Saturn says you're going to follow the rules. You are going to be, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to be very mature about things. We're going to look at things like that. And then there's Venus. So these two have blended very well together.
That's good.
Okay, it's excellent. It's a wonderful, wonderful aspect. But where is it? It's up in her 11th house. What's the 11th house? Social, friends,
Okay.
like groups that you belong to, organizations. It's mainly your social life and your friends. So what's that telling me so far? Just from her natal chart, and not I don't know, Melissa. It's saying
I don't know.
it's kind of telling me, I think that her quote unquote relationships, whether it be, her partnerships, are going to culminate out of her friendships and out of her social circles and out of her social groups, as opposed to it being in the 10th house where it's like, oh, that's your house of work, occupation.
Right.
So it's like, let's dig a little further. We're going to dig a little further. But just off the bat, she is a sun in Gemini, which you know about that, right? Right? You're a sun in Gemini.
I'm a Gemini. I don't know what the sun in Gemini is. So
Oh my God. Yes, your sun is in Gemini. So what is you're a Gemini. Now, on a love and relationship, her sun falls in her 12th house. What is the 12th house? 12th house is karma. It's the unknown.
Oh.
It's mysticism. It's psychic ability. It's clairvoyance. It can be prisons. Things that we don't want to see sometimes. That's the hidden secrets. That's the 12th house. Now, with her sun in Gemini, she's the potential for a broad variety of encounters and experiences. Which is, now, remember, we're talking about romance here.
Yeah.
So, it does not mean that you require a number of lovers to achieve happiness. It'd be wise to choose a partner who's willing to learn and try whatever you dream up. So, it's important that your mate or partner be your friend, because sex alone is simply not enough for her. They've got to be friends. Her most fulfilling moments will be when she's in touch with that person as a best friend and then carries it over to romance.
Yep.
And, because she knows, and she's a very deep, deep soul incarnate, very wise.
Wow.
It's not all about what happens in the behind closed doors. It's got to be the whole picture with her. Like some signs aren't kind of like that,
Yeah.
Like, and Keith is going to laugh at me when I say this because I'm like, oh my God, a Scorpio, what they can do, and then we laugh about it. But not Melissa. It's all of those things combined. That's what so that's off of her natal chart too. So even as a young girl, as a young little girl, her friendships are very valuable to her. Very valuable. Oh, look at Keith's already laughing. Now, her sun is in the 12th house, which also means she's very private. Now, because 12th house is privacy, secrets, so her romantic life and love life is going to be her private life. And that's just tough crap. If I don't want to talk about it, she's not going to, she doesn't spill her guts about what she's doing in her private life, which is a wonderful attribute.
Yes, it is.
Okay. She will only discuss her innermost feelings with people that she is very comfortable with, or she reaches that bond with them.
Right.
Yeah, some people can talk to a complete stranger about, their love life and their romance, and you know what I mean? Some people are very comfortable doing that. Sun in Gemini is not.
Private. She's more of a private individual.
Yes.
It's a trust. She says trust.
Yes.
So it's a trust issue. Yeah.
It's a very huge trust issue with her.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at her moon. What does the moon do? The moon is your emotions. Okay.
Right.
How we
do that.
Sorry. Now you did see, you knew that. You knew that.
I knew one thing. I'm awesome.
Oh crap, you know a lot more. Now, if you pick up, this would be so cool. If you pick up anything intuitively while I'm talking, let it rip.
You got it. All right, I'm on. Here we go.
If spirit tells you, hey, wait a minute, tell Melissa this. Tell her, just butt in. You know what I mean? Please do.
Okay.
So her moon is in Aries. Okay, what does that mean? What is Aries? Aries is the beginning.
I'm saying fiery.
Fiery.
Yes.
Aries is the warrior. Her emotions are very hard to keep quiet and within, because get an Aries pissed and you're going to know about it.
Yeah. It's going from 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds.
It doesn't even take 2 seconds for an Aries. And that's a hard lesson for an Aries to learn. It's like, come on, Aries, stop. But they're the fire sign. They're fearless. That's who we hide behind. If we're scared, you find an Aries and hide behind them, because they don't have any fear. But how do you handle that when it comes to a relationship?
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one for her.
Right. It's impulsive.
Yes. So as far as when it comes to not being explosive when something hits her the wrong way, that seems to, what they're telling me, is one of her biggest challenges when it comes to relationships.
It is very hard. And like the best thing that I can come up with, I woke up this morning and Aries came out. Because your mouth, it just comes out.
Yep.
And unless you've got Aries tendencies, you can't explain it. It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it almost feels like the Gemini is a bit bipolar at times, because the mood swings with the temper goes bam.
Well, because Gemini is very happy-go-lucky. They're very childlike. They're the children. And I don't mean that as immature, but they're very
I'll take it.
fun.
I want it.
Yeah, they're very childlike. Everybody, they're happy. They love, they're inquisitive. They're very they want to know how everything works. You give a Gemini a gadget and they will pull it apart.
Yep.
How it works. And so to have that Gemini and the Aries, it can clash, because then the Gemini feels bad. Gemini's like, oh, shut up, Aries, damn. But
I understand that. I really do.
It's a truth. So on an emotional state going into a relationship, learning that is a good lesson. Now, do I step, if and especially with a moon and a female, because that's what rules us. So the moon, you got to step back and say, okay, am I overreacting? Should I have stepped back? Aries needs to always take a step back. before you talk. And it's a very, very tough lesson. It's hard. I've struggled with it for my life. It just rolls out. And then before you know it, you punch somebody. Oops, what happened? You hit them. So it's like, it's true. Younger Aries. So that's what but making the lightning decisions to the matters of the heart and being impulsive
Right.
is something that you have to work on. Okay? That's
Okay.
just,
I understand that. I do.
and you know what? It falls in her, well, it's close to the midheaven. Aries moon. Okay, that's that. So let's look at her rising sign. See, we got the 3 big 3.
Right.
Remember? Your
Yep.
ascendant. Now, this is, you talk about balance. Her rising sign is Cancer. Well, what are Cancer traits? Cancer is the mother. She's the nurturer. She's the loving one until she's mad. You know, then they protect their young. But the Cancer is the intuitive, water-like feature that she would rather pull back a little bit. So that calms that Aries a lot, in a sense. But it can make you a tad bit moody. So that's who people see as her rising. They see loving, nurturing. But she, don't get me wrong, she's got a lot of fire. Oh, I know. Aries needs to speak. Aries needs to yell. But it's true. Keith is right. And we've all got Aries.
Yeah.
Now, with her, I forgot about her moon is in her 10th house. My bad. Let me go back. Her moon, okay. So maintaining status in social affairs is central to her lifestyle, and the reputation of her lover or partner is very important to her.
Huh.
She is often able to turn a love relationship to her advantage in other areas to enjoy connections. So that's important to her. What is thought of, what people think of her partner. So that's important to her. So let's see, we got our ascendant in, we got our moon in, and we got our sun sign in, the 3 big ones. Now, what's the next one we're going to look at is Venus, of course, right?
Yeah.
Well, her Venus is in Taurus, which Venus, that's one of Venus' rulers, Taurus and Libra. Venus rules 2 planets. So her Venus and her Juno are at home. Juno in the house and Taurus in that planet. It's a wonderful placement for her. She admires her partner. She will spoil her partner. She can be a little, what's the word? Kind of like, where are you? What are you doing? Type of relationship. Not spying or stalking like a Scorpio does, but more of a security. She has to have the security.
That's the trust issue that she talked about. Yeah.
Yes. And that's all Taurus. Right. So the trust, all Taurus is about is security and trust.
Right.
Love. And and with a Venus in Taurus, they would much rather, they love beautiful things. They love sparkly things. They love things that are like painting, like beautiful paintings, plays, the arts, creativity, cooking. And the thing about a Taurus placement in Venus is she would rather like spoil her partner at home and enjoy the lovely things that she has, as opposed to, she's going to go out and socialize because of that Gemini, but she would be just as happy at home with her partner.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like from her natal chart. Oh, let's look at Mars. I forgot. Now we can't go anywhere without looking at Mars because that's our male energy when we're looking at romance, right?
Ah, the yin and yang, the balance.
Yes. So guess where her Mars placement is?
I don't know.
She's got a great natal chart. I mean, it's wonderful. Sagittarius. So what is Saggy? Saggy is the fun.
Oh, okay.
Sagittarius is the fun one. They're the explorer. They're the traveler. Sagittarius and Gemini are kind of like together. You've got the student and the teacher. Gemini wants to learn.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. Saggies are the teacher. You know, it's a fun placement, and she's also got it in her 6th house. What does that mean? Sometimes she has to be a little bit spontaneous. Yeah, here Keith is right. Let's party. That's it. So Sagittarius with that Mars. Mars is what drives us in a romance.
Right.
It's the drive. So being with the placement in the 6th house, it can be, no, it's got to be this way. No, be a little bit more spontaneous and not so protective of the heart. So when we look at yes,
some individuals, and I'm not sure if this is her or other people in the room because there's too many people in the room, but what it is that there's like a trust issue. So in order to be able to get out there in it's like you can go out there, you do your thing, but in order to open all the way up when you're out there, that seems to be the issue. And again, I don't know which one this is.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But Melissa, if you have any questions while we're going through this, honey, please just fire away too. And if you got any questions for Susan or myself, just fire away.
Yep, fire away. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, because I'm just rambling now. But so let's look at that's her natal chart. So that's what we're going to and you know, you can go into other placements, but because Love Shack is romance, that's what I looked at mostly. If that makes sense. I'll tell you.
How does this natal chart affect her romance type chart? Or
well, I'm going to show you. So this chart that we're looking at. Now, if you look at this chart, the inner chart, the inner wheel is her what she was born with. That was the chart we were just kind of looking at.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you look on the outside of the chart,
right,
the little green planets are where they are what we call transiting. That's where the planets are currently moving. Okay. So if you look at Juno, look at on this chart, the AC, where it says AC to the left. That's ascendant. Juno is right underneath of that. So you see Juno with the little star. Right in front of her sun, you got, and the sun is transiting. Well, what's the sun in right now? Cancer. Mercury is in Cancer right now. These are transiting right now. So that's where they're moving. So that's when we look at, well, what could be affecting her now with romance? And where, first of all, we want to look for Miss Venus. Venus is in, if I'm not mistaken, is in Leo. Yeah, it's in Leo. It's getting ready to change and move over. Let me look. Yeah, Venus is in retro. My bad. Venus is going to retro back. So Venus is going back and forth, back and forth. Remember, this is when exes can show up right now. So, it's a good time for Venus right now with her. So I pulled up what are good dates for her next week to meet somebody.
Ooh.
You can pull up all kinds of stuff. So here we go, Melissa. You've got the 11th and the 12th. Both have huge stars in front of them, which are Tuesday and Wednesday. All next weekend, 14th, 15th, and 16th are
Wow.
good dates to meet somebody.
Oh.
That's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. So keep those dates in mind. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No, she just said, "Oh Lord," and of course, laugh out loud. And Keith says, "11th."
Yeah, the 11th. Do you have plans on the 11th?
Well, I don't know.
He needs to have plans on the 11th.
Plans on the 11th.
Now, what we have found out from her chart as well is she has a heavily guarded heart. And
Okay.
when you have a heavily guarded heart, sometimes you have to release that to allow for new people to come in.
Exactly.
So open up. And I don't think there's too much wrong with having a heavily guarded heart. But if it's
No.
stopping you from maybe going out and enjoying yourself, and because placements are in the 11th house, which is social, get
Right.
out. Join groups. This is where you're going to meet these people, or him, or her, or wherever, your partner.
Well, yeah, especially if you're
socially.
joining groups that is something you want to learn or you're interested in, and the other individual's also interested in it. That gives like a common ground, and that helps a little bit with trust issues. Talking like psychologically, that does
Yes.
help with.
Now, her Juno placement too, as well. And let's mix it all together. So, what are some of her challenges that she needs to look at and say, this is what I need to work on? It's the heavily guarded heart, cutting cords from past relationships, and that puts up the guard. Some people like Libras are like, oh, bye. A Libra will say, oh, okay, that relationship's over. Oh, and then they'll cry for 2 days, go buy a candle, go buy something glittery, and go, okay, bye, it's done. So, I mean, every sign handles things differently. With her makeup, the challenges here are to cut things that have hurt in the past, and not to be on the guard that, oh, it can happen again. Or, oh,
Yes.
And that's a challenge.
Yes,
And-
it is.
Yeah.
It is. When I'm doing like readings or counseling or whatever, a lot of individuals have to learn to get rid of their past issues in order to be able to move forward. And when they talk to me, they're like, okay, I want to go forward. I don't want to hear about the past. Well, you've got to solve it. You've got to get over the emotional, physical, or emotional aspects of the past before you're able to move forward and stay there. Otherwise, you're just a rubber band. So that does happen quite a bit, yes.
And it happens to her because of her placement with Saturn and Venus. Now, because Saturn restricts.
Okay.
So you got to get through that Saturn restriction of, you know what, screw this. I'm bringing in the Saggy. We're going to have fun. Saturn, go sit down somewhere and have a drink. And I'm going to go and have fun with my life. And Saturn will be like, okay, go do it. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. That's the rubber band effect.
Yes.
Back and forth. Okay.
But Saturn in that placement also gives her a very cool head when it comes to relationships. She's not, she's very good at, she's not going to be in a fall in love easy. No.
Yeah.
And also to not let cynicism get the best of a relationship or the best of her. Success comes with this Saturn Venus placement. Success in a relationship comes much later in life. Saturn reflects older, so Successful relationships will come later on in life up with the social circles or
Yeah.
groups, things of that nature. Even if it's an online group, you
True.
know what I mean? Even if it's people that you meet in different groups that you're in online, like a cooking group. Maybe it's a cooking group. I don't know, gardening group. Because it's
Yeah.
very important to her with her placements that to have that in common and be intellectually stimulated with a Gemini above anything.
Because you need to have things in common in order to be able to communicate. Because with me, at least, my Gemini, I have to be able to communicate. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's part of my Aries or whatever, but I have to be able to communicate. I have to have that friendship along with that loving relationship. I always have.
That's Gemini.
Ah,
That's a Gemini trait.
huh.
That's a Gemini trait. That's huge.
Wow.
Well, because Gemini is the communicator. If she meets somebody right off the bat and they're not communicating, they're done. They're done. She won't. No, they're done. She won't. She won't. No, because she's no.
Huh.
Don't be disappointed if they do something that does disappoint you. If you like somebody and you're enjoying them while you're dating and something's bothering them, tell them.
Right.
So let's see what else. Work through things to transform and activate your gifts. Oh, that was with her North Node placement. My bad. My bad. See, here are my notes. Here are my typical Libra notes. Look at that mess. See, this is like we aren't very organized.
She got booted off. She's trying to get back on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what Keith said. Yep.
Okay. So, Keithy, do you have any questions?
Yes. If anybody has any questions, whether it's something quick about astrology, because we have like maybe 15 minutes left, or if you have like a psychic question, or if you need counseling help, or you want to talk to Reverend Raven here, the R.R., let me know.
Yeah.
Yep. Any questions when it pertains to
holler at
us? Huh?
Yeah, holler at us.
Yes, let us know. Literally, I mean, because love is something everybody needs in their life, and a lot of times when we're younger, it's very difficult for us to actually trust love unless it's love from like a childhood type relationship. Like my parents were high school sweethearts, so they were together forever. But a lot of times, like we have a tendency to go through the motions and settle because psychologically we don't want to be alone. But that's not what it should be at all.
Well,
it should be that
Huh? Unless you're a Libra. Libras don't date, they get married.
Oh.
They do.
Huh.
So Libras just fall in love. I mean, like even if somebody like looks at you and smiles at the grocery, you think that they want to be engaged to you. You've already got the wedding plans in your mind while you're standing in the line at the freaking grocery and you don't even know the guy.
Yeah. Oh my God, that explains so much.
That's a
when I'm doing readings with people, it's like, come on, why not? Why did he come? Come on. We had one date. It was 2 hours. Come on.
That's Libra. Libra will be married in their head.
Oh my God.
Well, in fact, I mean, it's true. Yeah, Keith, stay away
from Libra.
Oh, and people marry them. That's the whole thing. They get married because they fall in love. They marry them because the Libra's like, no, I'm not talking to you unless we get married. Okay, we'll get married. That's how easy it is.
Wow.
Wait, this is hilarious. I got to show you this. I'll show you this while we're waiting for Melissa. You're going to die laughing. This was my mother. Okay, I was mad because I said I'm never getting married again. And my mother, I'm going to flush all my engagement rings. And my mother said, give me all those diamonds. I'm going to make a ring out of it. Don't you
Okay.
dare flush those engagement rings. Well, as everybody knows, my mother passed away in December. So I've got her jewelry. I got to get it sized. Here is my the ring with all my engagement rings in it that she got made.
God.
This is Libra life. There. Is that
Wow.
hilarious? Yeah,
Wow.
that's I was gonna flush all these down the toilet because I was like, I'm
That's
done. I'm
that's
just
quite a bit.
done. I'm done.
Wow.
So that's a Libra. So see, that's how you have different
Yeah.
signs are all different.
And see, me with a Gemini, don't try to give me a diamond. I'd rather have a crystal. I'm
For a
very weird.
book.
I wouldn't do the white wedding down. No, sorry. I'm more of a spiritual connection type individual. Yeah, I don't do those other ways. I'd rather have an awesome Viking wedding where everybody comes dressed up in costume.
Okay.
That's my idea of a good
Give
time.
me the diamonds. I
No,
want emeralds. I'm older. I want an
no, no.
Well, if we have missed Miss Melissa and she can get
Yep.
back on, I will send her all this information because did you understand that, Susan?
I am starting to follow it. When I look at the chart, I'm trying to figure out which sign is what. Like I think I figured out where certain ones are the symbols. So it's
Okay.
like learning the symbols. But the more I look at it and the more I listen, the easier it is for me to understand it. I'm
Okay.
one of those. So, but yeah, I really did. So what does this chart, this working, say about her having the ability to like, when is she going to finally either work through things or deal with the trust issue in order to be in a relationship? There's no way of knowing yet, right? Or
Well,
is there?
yeah, because that's entirely up to her.
Right.
And and that's why you look at things and say, maybe if I had a little bit more trust issues and put myself out there more,
Right.
because Venus is in the 11th house of social groups. I mean, it's very strong. This is where you're going to meet a lot of people. And then we look toward the North Node. Okay. Now, what is the North Node? And that's for everything. That's your destiny. That's your soul contract. Why are you here? When you start to work on your North Node and your soul contract, doors for everything open up. And that includes love. That includes job. That everything starts to open up because you're working on why you were here. What is her placement in? This is so fascinating because I always look at the North Node. North Node, her placement is in Pisces.
Okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you sit down and decide to come up here to do that I can work on that will open all my doors and for me to maybe find my partner, find happiness, find it all? Well, Pisces is no boundaries. It is the mystic. It's the psychic. It's the end of the zodiac. So it's spiritual gifts. It's unlocking everything so that you can use the gifts, and that includes spiritual gifts, psychic gifts, clairvoyance, healing, that you came down here to use. That's what she came here to do. In past lives, she was a Virgo. It was Virgo. Virgo's South Node is organization. It's learning how to live day to day, being organized, having a good routine, being together, having all your crap together.
So that's a South Node?
That's a South Node. She's done that.
Okay, mine's not functioning then.
No. Usually psychics, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Mine's organized? Yeah, no. My house is, my desk never is.
No.
Yeah.
Because you operate in a lot of times when clairvoyants operate off of a different vibrational plane than other people are, and that vibrational plane is pretty scattered because you're out of where you're off the vibration that you really aren't, that isn't here.
So I have an excuse.
Yeah, it's a great excuse.
Yay!
Yeah, it's a perfect excuse. But so her North Node is to really interesting is to transform, to activate the gifts that she came down here to use, and that's to really utilize her whether it's healing, whether it's clairvoyance. You know, she's going to have to find that, and I think that's very, very interesting. And what's interesting, it's in the 10th house, which is job.
Huh.
So she's got, you know, and I don't know if Melissa is clairvoyant. I don't know if she's psychic, what her spiritual passion is, but unlocking that is essential.
That's key, yes.
And it's interesting. So I love to hear how psychic experiences that she's had, because she's extremely psychic. North Node.
So does
Pisces
that mean
psychic.
The north is actually where she should head, and the south is where she was?
Yes, many, many lives. Many,
Huh.
many past lives is her south node. And that's usually where we go and hide. We go and hide in our south node because it's comfortable. Why is it comfortable? Because we've done it so many times in so many past lives before that it is our security blanket.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we hide in the south node. Now, when you want to move on and work towards your soul contract, you hit that north node. Anytime a north node is uncomfortable. I don't know anybody that has never done north node work that's like, oh, I hate this. I can't stand it. It's hard. Of course it's hard because you don't do it.
So how, as an individual, say, you know, and again, this has something to do with love as well, because it's also self-love. How would an ordinary person find out what their north node is if they don't speak astrology, so to speak?
So
how do you find out?
You Google it. Google, put what is my north node, and you will be able to, it'll pop up and you will be able to find all these. All you pop in is your birth date, your time of birth, and boom, it'll pop out your north node.
Huh.
You can
And
Google
it'll
it.
give you, like, the house and explain it the way you do.
Well, yeah, you got to look that up, but it'll say, oh, your north node is in Virgo.
Right.
Your north node is in Virgo in the 6th house. So then, okay, well, then you Google north node in Virgo in the 6th house. What does that mean?
Okay.
I just know it, you know, because I've studied
those
it.
are the things individuals need to work on. So if we're talking like the love chart, if she starts working on the north node work, that would also help with getting the intimate, like the intimate or the loving type relationships that are more balanced, so the one you're supposed to have.
The reason being is because it unlocks all the doors that we feel are not open. When you start to work on your soul contract and what you came here to do,
right,
doors open. So you have destiny steps in, and like somebody you were destined to meet, you're going to run into them. So you could have been doing that work on your north node the entire time and not even realized you're doing it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, it does, because I'm thinking about it, because I literally dreamed about JR when I was a teenager. I bumped into him like 4 times, but we never like had the chance to communicate. And then when I was here, boom, there he is.
And look back at the time when you were meeting, when you met him, you were probably doing a lot of work on yourself and really working hard to get something accomplished within your soul.
Yeah. Huh. So yeah, so it just kind of, it worked that way. So it's really quite interesting. So that would definitely be something that I have to look up. Now, guys, literally, if you have any questions about love, this is something that's going to be here every single. She's finally back,
Oh,
and
God,
we have
love her
about
heart.
6 minutes left.
Well, Melissa, I will send you all this information, but it's just briefly what Susan and I were just talking about is we look at North Node placement, soul contract. Yours is
Right.
in Pisces. So I'll send you information on that. But when you start to work on that North Node and your psychic ability and how psychic you are, because it's in Pisces, that's extremely clairvoyant or a healer, or it's in the metaphysical world, and work on that and work in that field is when that North Node will open up doors with partnerships and love and happiness, because when you're happy, that's what you're going to attract.
Right. Like attracts like.
Yes.
So, and that's why get work on yourself, or your inner self is what I tell people all the time. A lot of times, physically, mentally, emotionally, unless you're doing the work on yourself, you're not going to find
Right.
where it is that you're supposed to be. So, yeah, I totally agree on that.
Melissa, are you, I mean, you don't have to answer this, but I'm just curious as to how clairvoyant are you? Because with a Pisces North Node, sometimes people don't realize that they are that gifted and that clairvoyant.
Hey, and I'm going to ask, I know your intuition has been dead on. So have you started developing your gifts yet, or are you in development of them now? Because I know it's something you work with on a regular basis.
Melissa?
So I'm
Is that
waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll wait for her answer. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, off the charts. And that needs to explode. And it hits Neptune.
Yes.
Yes. And it's conjunct the moon. Makes it immune to psychic ability. So I mean, it's off the cuff. So work at it. Not like work at
definitely
it. Readings and healings.
Yep. Because it can go in either way. Or you could do both, readings and healings. It's quite fascinating, but I wouldn't give it up. I would continue to work on it and continue to develop it. And I know that it's something that you work with now, but you have a growth, you have an extension coming or an ascension coming. Sometimes people don't speak English here. That you have a growth period that's actually coming towards you right now psychically. So I would definitely take Joni's advice and work towards your North Node, because that's going to lead you into the direction that you need to be in. It kind of goes hand in hand. I do tarot cards. Yep. Start channeling them. You don't need to read the cards. You can channel the cards. The same card, for instance, I'm just going to pull a random card out. Just real quick, they want me to explain this to you. Say if you got this card, okay, and then you read this card for one individual, it's not going to mean the same thing for someone else. Stop second guessing your intuition. Go really deeply into it. You're going to start channeling decks, not reading them. Like all the cards are going to have different meanings. So I'm not sure if this is something you do now, or if it's something that you're working towards, or if it's something you already started. But there's a lot more channeling coming in versus just the tarot cards. It's like a gift that's coming down for you. Start expanding it, because that's the direction they're telling me for you to go into. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's everything that you said is in her chart. I mean, as far as the moon hitting that North Node, Pisces in the North Node, Neptune is hitting that North Node. It's trining it, and I know that's kind of like talking like, I don't want to talk like doing this or that, but it's all there. It's all there. And psychic ability can be picked up easily on natal charts. Easily.
Definitely do it more and more and more and more.
And practice and continue to do so.
Yeah.
And it'll open up all those doors.
Yeah, she's starting to channel. It says I'll put it up. She says it's what comes to mind that comes out, and that's perfect. That's
beautiful.
Exactly the way it should be.
Well, that's the Aries. That's the Aries and that's wonderful. I love
Yeah.
it. You have a wonderful chart, dear. Unguard that heart, and the door will hit. The partner
Well,
is
if
there.
you have anything else you'd like to say, we have about time's up, time to end the show until next week. And don't forget to tune in to every RNN show as much as possible. Like, follow, subscribe.
Yep.
You want literally just keep going with us because we're going to be growing and growing and growing and growing, and we're going to be able to cover a lot of different topics. And there's a lot of things coming. I mean, we have the Otter's Den, we have mysteries behind the scenes, we have the Orion effect, we have Raven's Flock, and we have more coming that we're not announcing yet. So there's a lot more stuff coming, a lot more variety. So literally stay tuned, guys. So if you have anything else to add, Miss Joni.
No, ma'am. RNN Nation. We are. I mean, and it's fun. We have a great family here.
Yes.
Oh, you are more than welcome, Melissa. Honey, have a great weekend. I hope that answered some questions. I will send you stuff. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
I did. I find it fascinating. So now
it?
it's like I want to look up what these symbols are. I figured out which one Cancer is.
Yeah, Cancer's over at
I
the
know
left.
Cancer, and I think I know which one Mercury is. So this'll be she'll have to go back and watch because she did miss some. But this is like fascinating, and it's like the learning thing. I probably won't end up doing astrology, but at least I'll know some of what the symbols are because it's
Yep.
I'm more on a different level of that. But I did have a lot of fun. And Joni, thank you so much for putting in all that astrology work. Pretty much all I did was sit here, drink coffee,
Oh,
and
let me
learn.
know.
I love it. I learned.
No, what I think is cool is your intuition was spot on with what her chart, what spirit.
Oh, that's right. That is pretty cool.
That's really cool, and I love that.
Huh.
And
So
I got
kind of
cold chills. I got cold
astrology,
chills.
just not like you. Yeah, that's it.
I got cold chills when I said that.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really neat. I love to see people that are so psychic. I love it. It's so cool.
I
love
think it's a great combination, and I'm not sure if Howie's going to be in next week or not, but we'll see you again, and peace, guys. Okay,
Have a great
love you all.
weekend.
Have a blessed weekend and stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe.